Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Lock Shop. Nielsen and Huss back with you once again. Tell your friends about The Lock Shop so they, too, can start dabbling in the odd wager with our partners over at Coolbet. Sign up for an account today at coolbet.com. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you sign up. They'll take care of you. 100% bonus up to $200. Huss, what's up, buddy? How are you? How was the weekend?
Oh, my God, the weekend was incredible. It was bookended with great starts. The Friday night Bomber game was unreal. Got the plus 550 for the peeps in the Coolbet exclusives. And then Pat's going to join us, but Pat and Jake, I got on their winner as well on college football.
Oh,
we
nice.
Finished it off with a big Chiefs win on Sunday night, but there was a couple tough losses, in particular the Cleveland Browns, who were on my shit list after yesterday. But overall, it was just awesome. Some great games yesterday. Awesome Sunday nighter, and I'm really looking forward to this Monday nighter tonight. Always get great matchups and a great game when the Rams and Niners go head-to-head.
Yeah, we'll give you our thoughts on, obviously, the spread. There's some totals that we're looking at, player props as well. Pat Gregoire from Coolbet's going to pop by right off the top here of this episode, but the Cleveland Browns, man, it would have been 3-in-1 week for you. We would have hit the partner parlay. What the hell happened there?
Well, they blew it. That's the only way that I can say it. For some reason, they just had an absolute inability to stop the Falcons' running game. I mean, that was part of the reason why we thought, and I was feeling really good about Cleveland, their ability to run over Atlanta, which they did for quite a bit of the football game. Atlanta had a couple big defensive stops in the fourth quarter, and they were able to win. I mean, Marcus Mariota had 3 fantasy points, and yet they won the football game yesterday.
Oh, I know.
Atlanta, by the way, Atlanta is now America's team, 4-0 against the spread so far this year. So they've done it well. Listen, Cleveland should be 4-0 right now, which is crazy to say without Deshaun Watson, but they had no business losing that game yesterday. And, of course, their other blemish was blowing that 13-point lead in the last 2 minutes to the New York Jets of all teams. So Cleveland is in the bad books, but overall, pretty fun game. Jacksonville very close to covering that one. It could have gone either way, and obviously the conditions there really
fumble fest for Lawrence.
It definitely impacted the game overall. But nice win for the Vikes, and what an end to the Vikes. And we can go through some of these games with Pat, but the international double doink on the final play of the game, it was
allowing
really
the Vikings to cover -2.5. Huge double doink. Very much appreciate that. Yeah, let's continue with our Sunday conversation. Pat Gregoire, you can find him on Twitter at @PGreggy. Pops by for a visit here on a Monday episode. Patty, what's up, buddy?
Doing good. It's a victory Monday from the wallet standpoint. And, of course, the Buffalo Bills had me just sweating all sorts of sweats after that brutal first half. But then Josh Allen puts the team on his back. They're able to beat the Ravens. And, man, the good juju just continued on throughout the day with some bets. And I told Huss, I'm hopping in with you with the Chiefs, took the money line. I even had the first touchdown score going. So I'm hoping we can keep these good vibes going into Monday Night Football tonight.
Hey, quickly on the Bills, Patty. And, as it is in the National Football League, the quarterbacks will get the attention and they'll get the credit, and Josh Allen deserves a lot of it. But the second half by the Bills defense to handle Lamar Jackson, who had been murdering opposition defenses. I mean, it sort of gets underplayed in a game with the score that they had, especially with the way the game started. But that Bills defense, part of the reason why people think the Bills have such a good chance to win, it's not just Josh Allen, it's the guys on the defensive side of the football. And man, did they ball out when they needed it so much.
The defense was unbelievable, and they were getting absolutely ran over in that first half, whether it was Lamar or Dobbins. They were just having their way with them. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe they're just too banged up right now. They're missing too many key players, but their key players came up huge. Like Matt Milano, man, this guy came up with some ridiculous tackles.
He's good.
His ankles would get shredded. He's falling down, but he still is able to be strong enough to bring down Lamar or bring down Dobbins or even Andrews. There was one play where he was literally laying on the ground, arm tackle brought him down short of a first down. Like Milano was great. I thought Edmonds was great as well too. Just a very gutsy performance from this Bills team, which, we haven't really seen from the Bills. It's just, they just curb stomp teams. And if it's a tight game, they usually end up losing. So this is one of the tight games where they're able to come back 17 points. Certainly felt good for Buffalo. My big thing, though, next week, the Steelers are a dumpster fire. Let's get that out of the way. But this would be a game where if you want to be a legit contender, you got to blow the doors off the Steelers next week. Like, you just have to absolutely blow. There can't be a let-up game. So I know we're getting ahead of ourselves. We still have a game here tonight, but that's what from my Bills Mafia perspective of things, I want to see them, continue this momentum.
Well, they got to avoid the look-ahead game because what's coming up in week 6.
Oh, yes. I can't wait, but at the same time, I definitely can wait after seeing how Mahomes just put the league back on notice. Like, any doubt that you're thinking, maybe the torch is getting passed over to Allen or Lamar. No. Mahomes says, I'm still the best in the game right now. I'm still doing, PlayStation moves out here. The throws, the shovel, like, just ridiculous stuff. And it's so much better when you got money riding on them because as a Bills fan, there's nothing that I like doing more because I've never done it really before than beating the snot out of Tom Brady. And we got to do that last night.
Oh, we got three guys here. I just love watching Huss, and I was in on the Chiefs with you guys too last night, so we're on a little bit of a victory lap here today. But I love watching Huss when somebody else is praising the Chiefs. It's just the best. It's the best, Huss. I love it.
Well, there's been a lot of besmirching about the Chiefs and Mahomes, and a lot of Skip Bayless-esque takes that have been going around. So, listen, Gutsy, though, seriously, I mean, it was a huge game. We've talked about the Chiefs' schedule all year long. They basically gave one up to a team that had no business beating them the weekend before. And, this was huge. I mean, whether you're at 2-2 or 3-1 at this point of the season is significant. Yeah. They've got the Raiders on Monday night, then the Bills. This is a difficult listen, this entire stretch for the Chiefs is tough playing that first place schedule. But I think we were really interested in how both Kansas City handled Tampa, but also what Tampa was able to do. And funny enough, in the Sunday Nighter, that Tampa had their best offensive performance of the year.
Yeah, Tom Brady threw almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like,
this was a team. Now, score effects probably has a little bit to do with that, but at the same time, Tampa was a team that had been winning on the backs of their defense, and that, if you were worried about the Kansas City offense, I think you got what you wanted to see last night, putting up 41 plus over a very, very good Buccaneers defense.
I didn't want to throw it in the group chat, Huss, because I wanted to keep the vibes high, and it obviously worked. But I did take Mike Evans over in his yards, and it cashed real easy. So I made sure to keep that one in my back pocket, not mention it on the group chat. But I did cash that one as well. So.
It was a very good night for overs, I think, on pretty much any aspect of that game last night.
Yeah, no, it was great. All right, let's transition to tonight. It is the Rams and the Niners. Pat, any strong plays here? Is there anything you really like tonight?
Yeah, this one for me, again, normally, for whatever reason, these Mondays and Thursdays, I haven't had a huge, lean on where I want to go on the side, or even sometimes these totals. Well, unless it's a Thursday, I've been pretty much, you'd be crazy not to take the under because it seems like they're always cashing. But so this is where I like to lean into some props, and maybe I'll do a bet builder ticket. If I had to choose a side, I think you got to go 49ers here, just based off the history that Kyle Shanahan has against the Rams and against Sean McVay. I think it's like 7-3 or 7-4 over his career. But for me, a couple of a couple props that jump out to me. I like George Kittle over 43.5 yards. You're actually getting that at plus money. I know he's just back from injury, but in these matchups against his division rival here, he's hit this mark in 7 of the last 8 regular season matchups. Jimmy G likes having his comfort blankets, and that's certainly a target that he has had no problem hitting. On the other side, Allen Robinson under. I'm just going to continue fading. This seems like this acquisition is just not working out with this team at all, with the Rams. Only 7 catches so far this season for 88 yards on 12 targets. Like, Stafford's just not even looking for this guy at this point. Maybe this is the week where he breaks out. I'm not willing to take the over at this point, and you're getting that at even money right now. So those are the 2 props that I like definitively that I've already locked in. I'll probably add a couple of touchdown scorers as well. And if I put a bet builder together, I'll be sure to throw that out to probably the Twitter, but the group chat will get the approval first.
It's funny you mentioned Kittle, because Kittle historically has basically done whatever the hell he wants against the Rams. And that's a big part of the domination that the Niners have had over LA over the last few years. And if you look historically, if you are on Kittle tonight, his touchdown prop is plus 180. Historically, if you look back at the last few years, that's usually been more like kind of 140, 150, maybe. So if you think the Niners are on it and you think Kittle will have a big part of it, I think the number is better than we'd normally get right now for Kittle because of the injuries and the slow start he and the team have had. Yeah,
no doubt. And I think when you look at the other players that have around the same odds, like Brandon Ayuk, and I know Jimmy G is really starting to get comfortable with him, but you compare it and you're like, well, if Kittle is healthy, he's probably maybe second, third shortest odds, closer to like a Debo at plus 110. So great point there, Huss. I'm going to add that one to my card as well. I'm already locked into his receiving yards over. So why not sprinkle a touchdown? I might even sprinkle first touchdown since I cashed it last night and cashed one again last week. So got to keep the hand hot while it's hot.
9-1, 9-1 on Kittle. And
Done.
You know those tight end first TDs always seem to sneak in there. So might have to sprinkle on that one as well, Patty.
No doubt. And, before I do get going, I know you guys have been hammering your guys' exclusives. The Browns just we don't even need to talk about it, buddy. But we've got some great exclusives right now. I know this is a football show today, but if you are a Blue Jays fan and you want to see them clinch home field advantage here tonight, you can get the Blue Jays on the money line. And also we need a Seattle to lose for that to happen. So you take the Tigers, which I know plug your nose, but hey, home sweet home. We hope they clinch home field advantage tonight. Go to the Cool Bet exclusive tabs. It will be right there. And I believe there's another Monday Night Football exclusive coming up as well, too. So take a look out for that. And, of course, every weekend, look out for the partner parlay because I think you guys cashed the week before, but the Brownies, they let you down this week. So
yeah, we'll bounce back. We'll bounce
back.
Very cool.
That's going to happen. Yeah.
There's a couple. Actually, there's a very interesting Monday night exclusive, folks, that's up there right now. Plus 150 on the West Coast Workhorse Special.
There it is.
Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp to combine for 200 plus rushing and receiving yards. So essentially 100 a guy in the air, on the ground. I was going through a number of these previous matchups and Deebo has been scoring, rushing the ball, but that's a great one. It kind of combines. It doesn't matter how he's getting the football, getting the yards. So that'll be a fun one to ride with tonight. Plus 150 in the exclusive.
I wasn't sure if the boys got it up in time before the show, but they're the hardest working guys in the biz. They're on it. And that home sweet home prop plus 495. So obviously a little bit juicy there with the Tigers, but hey, to be totally honest, I think the Blue Jays got it here. But if they don't get home field advantage, I think they could be in big
They got to get that. They got to lock that up.
I think if they lock it up, I think they'll get out of the wild card, and who knows what happens after that. But they need home field. They cannot go over to the West Coast. And I know there'll be a lot of Jays fans across the border, but that Seattle fan base, man, like they're fired up that they finally get some postseason baseball.
As always, buddy, thanks for the visit, man. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Pat.
You guys as well. I'm sure we'll be chatting soon.
Yeah, you got it, man. That's Pat Gregoire from Cool Bet. And that's going to dive right into Monday night for us as well. I do like that Debo. What's the number on that exclusive again? That Debo Cooper Kupp one? That's
plus 150 for 200 plus combined rushing and receiving from Kupp and Debo.
Yeah, I don't mind it. All right, let's get into our Monday nighter. We're going to go head to head on the side here, I know I'm going to be the fool who takes the Rams against the Niners. But as you're on the Niners -1.5, I mean, there's a lot of history here that would say that's the play tonight. Is that what you're looking to, or are you looking to more recent history, I guess?
Well, I guess the one recent history we have in between these two teams is the playoffs last year. Was the NFC Championship game when the Niners again had complete control of that football game and then lost. And I think that that's been probably keeping Kyle Shanahan awake many nights throughout the offseason heading in. But more recently, they absolutely need this game. I mean, you had that loss to the Bears in week 1. They came back with a win and then somehow lost to the Broncos in one of the most unwatchable football games we've seen in a long time.
Brutal game.
And Jimmy G back starting. The Niners are a way better team than we've seen so far this week. And nobody brings out the best in the San Francisco 49ers like the Los Angeles Rams. Outside of the meltdown last year in the playoffs, Kyle Shanahan and his team had ran half a dozen straight against Sean McVay. And, you know, there are some guys that just have other teams' numbers. There are other teams that just play very, very well against particular opposition. And it all seems to be that way for San Francisco. And they're staring 1-3 in the face if they lose this game. And I guess the other side of things is I'm not really convinced on the Rams so far this year. I mean, they got humiliated in that first game against the Buffalo Bills. They came back and won, didn't even cover it against the Falcons. I just think that the Rams are in a position right now where they're not entirely healthy. They're missing some of the key players from last year's team. And I do think that Kyle Shanahan will be able to exploit that. So I'll be honest, and I'm going to put this out on our Cool Bet play of the day. I like the Niners here. I think that given the opportunity to bet them at -1.5 or -122 on the money line, I wouldn't at all be surprised if this is a 1-point game against, I guess what I'm saying is. So take the money line as opposed to -1.5. Fair, yeah. You're making a straight bet. But for the purposes of our spread pick, I will certainly take San Francisco -1.5. And as far as the total goes, the total right now is, I believe, at 42.5. And listen, there's a reason why these guys are so good at what they do. Going through the previous games, you've got 40, 41, 43, 44. It always seems right around there. So I'm not going to take the game total. I'm going to go to the team total, and I'm going to take the Niners over 21.5 for my over-under pick for the game today.
I like going with those team totals. I did it, on Thursday, and it hit. I'm going to go on the under on this one at 42.5, but I don't necessarily love it, but I will take the under 42.5, and I'm going to side with the Rams here at +1.5. And, maybe the way that they won that playoff game is kind of the monkey that they needed to get off their back here against the Niners after losing 6 in a row to them. And that might be something they can build on. The biggest reason I'm going to side with the Rams here is that the Niners will be without their left tackle, Trent Williams, who's their best offensive lineman. And in a lot of these games, when the Niners have had success against the Rams, they've ran the ball, and he's a huge part of that. So I think they're going to miss him against a Rams defense that can get after the quarterback. And it's not like all of a sudden you're going to get Jimmy Garoppolo out on the run and it's going to make the offense a whole lot better if he's to them right now. But, I'm going to go with the Rams on the road. I know they had that loss to the Bills. They have followed up with a couple of wins, not impressive wins. But the Niners, I mean, even since they made the quarterback change, they lost the game 11-10. Their only wins against Seattle. And Seattle's better than we thought they were going to be, obviously. Geno Smith has the highest completion percentage through 4 games in the history of the National Football League, which is just insane. But I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I'm not too sure what either of these teams are so far, which maybe is why we're expecting a close football game here tonight. But I'm going to roll with the Rams, kind of bucking the trend in the regular season here. I'll take them at +1.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great matchup. This one could go either way. I mean, that's essentially why you've got such a tight line. And it is interesting, San Francisco being the home team, only getting 1.5. I mean, that would indicate that the bookies are higher on the Rams. But I do think maybe that's a bit of an overreaction to just how bad the Niners looked against the Broncos last Sunday. All things being equal, Jimmy Garoppolo needs to ball out and have a great game today. He was not very good. The offense looked completely out of sync. But I'm kind of leaning on the Rams, bringing out the best in Kyle Shanahan's team. We've seen it happen over and over again before, and the Rams certainly need that tonight to avoid going to 1-3. As far as player props go,
we're on Debo, baby.
Debo always comes up big in these games. He's scored touchdowns in 3 straight against the Rams and has had some of his biggest, most impactful games against the Rams team that's had a really good defense over the last few seasons. And of course, ended up winning the Super Bowl last week. So in a big game like this for the team, I think their biggest players step up. I like Debo plus 112. I'll be honest, I think I'm going to jump on that Kittle over for yardage as well, especially when you consider what's up with their line. I think he's going to need to get the ball out quickly, and I think Kyle Shanahan's going to have plenty designed to get it quickly into the hands of Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. And then from the Rams side of things, I'm going to take Matt Gay over 6.5 points. I do think they'll be kicking a couple field goals in this game. So to get to 7, pretty comfortable with that number. It's basically even money on either side of it. So I'm going to take over Gay 6.5 points on the Rams side of things, and hope that the Niners can kind of keep those totals low on the LA side of things and get that win on the money line.
I'm going to roll with Debo over 57.5 yards. That's receiving. That's not total yards. But I'm going to roll with Debo over 57.5 yards receiving. I think I saw a stat earlier this morning, diving into this a little bit. Last year, he would have finished over this total 12 times. So I think this is a little bit of a correction coming with Deebo Samuel as he gets Jimmy Garoppolo back. Jimmy targeted him 8 times last week. He's going to be heavily involved in their offense. So I'm going to go Deebo over 57.5 yards receiving. And then I know Pete Greggy was against Allen Robinson, but I'm going to roll with an Allen Robinson touchdown here at plus 200. Here's why. The San Francisco 49ers top 5 defense so far this year against number 1 wide receivers. They're going to be doubling Cooper Kupp all night. Now, Cooper Kupp's still going to get his. That's what Cooper Kupp does. But it should be a steady diet. And we've seen these other number 2 wide receivers with the Rams have success against the Niners, whether it was OBJ, Van Jefferson, whoever was the number 2 at the time. They've had some success against them. So it's going to be a bunch of one-on-one coverage against Allen Robinson tonight. He does have a touchdown this year. He scored 2 games ago, scored in that Seattle game, I believe. So I'm going to say they're all over Cooper Kupp tonight. Probably still gets his 90 to 100 yards. Maybe still gets a TD as well, but I do think there will be at least a target or 2 for Robinson down in the red zone. So I'm on Allen Robinson TD at plus 200. A risky boy tonight with A-Rob.
Is it Allen Robertson, the number 2 guy, or is it Ben Skowronek, the
Don't
number 2 guy?
get me started with Skowronek.
I'm just kidding. Well, I can tell you that the number for most receiving yards of the game, Kupp's minus 200, Ayuk 4 to 1, Debo plus 450, Allen Robinson 8 to 1, and Ben Skowronek 30 to 1. So yes, you're right. I don't believe he has usurped Robinson as the number 2 guy just yet.
Interesting that Debo has better value than Brandon Ayuk. I know Ayuk can be a deep threat, obviously, so I guess that's why it's just like that. But
I think the biggest part of it is the fact of how much they give it to Debo technically rushing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a bit it. If it was combined yards, I guarantee it would be Cooper Kupp and it would be Debo there, but a little different with the options for tonight. But I am going to get on that plus 150 Debo Cooper Kupp 200-yarder.
I think that's a really good one. I think, because one guy could go off for $130 easy, and then you don't need much from the other guy, especially if the other guy's Debo, because if you combine the yards, man, you're going to get 70 tonight for sure. So, yeah, no, I like that one as well. All right, that's going to do it for a Monday Night Football episode of The Lock Shop. Fantasy football extravaganza tomorrow. And, hey, what a weekend. TJ Hawkinson, start of the week, 2 touchdowns and a franchise record for yards. Come on, are you kidding me? Austin Eckler, huge week as well. Who'd you have? You had the one big hit, too.
We called that Eckler. I mean, my God, if you look at my team I've got like almost 180 in the listener league, and I think I still have 2 guys to go. I just absolutely exploded. Justin
Huge
Jefferson
week.
had a great game. So we'll hit all the fantasy goings on, waiver wire, and more on tomorrow's show. And then Obviously, get a little bit of CFL on Wednesday. And then, of course, Thursday night, right into all of our NFL programming Thursday through Saturday. So welcome to another week in the Lock Shop, folks. Let's start it off with a dub tonight.